Good evening. Welcome to the Men's Den. My name is Liquiani Eli, and we are right on time to start the second season of the Men's Den. What we expect a lot more than you can imagine because the Men's Den is full house. James Mwathi anakaa ni kama miwani imemkataa. Gilbert Makomere all the way in the US, and of course Mr. African Pan-Africanist himself. Na sijui leo kunaendaje because there is one young man that is planning to join us in a few. But how have you been, gentlemen?
Very fine.
Let Gilbert go first. Gilbert, as usual. Wacha Gilbert open the show for us.
Oh man, I've been good. Thanks guys for joining in. It has been an awesome break. And we are ready for season 2. Hope everyone is ready because this one is going to be fire.
Fire. Why do you call it fire? I mean, Matasio, you've been laughing. You want it? Unakunywa nini sasa? Okay, we promised some beers, but anyway. Matasio.
Time, I just came in. Lazima takisa kabomu chocolate kidogo ya. I've been good. Very busy enjoying it, and I think it was worth a break so that we can reload. And of course, as Gilbert says, it will be fire. Yani tume-reload. Hapa yani hakuna mshale ya mwanaume wote tumeacha nje.
Kabisa.
Kabisa.
James, why is smiling? Kwani umekuja na nani kwa nyumba?
No. I'm enjoying. I'm actually enjoying the zeal and the fire that both Matasio and Gilbert are coming with, and it promises to be a great season, and looking forward to it. Also with the new members who are coming in, again, it will be something that it's a step ahead from what we had last season. So karibu everyone.
Definitely. Karibu sana for everybody that is watching online. Today we are having an easy one because these gentlemen tell me they have a lot they want to discuss about. Sarah and Jonjo, good evening, gentlemen. Moses Shipiti, karibu sana. Titus T, Antonia Nzei. Hello, my people. Kipro Roda, karibu sana. Jonathan Mbaire, anasema wako tuned kabisa. Karibu sana. So now, what makes a man? Because this is one of the most, this is how we want to start this and understand what really makes a man. Mr. Environment and 75% of yourself.
The scientist.
The scientist.
Go first.
Oh man. Oh, Ellie, before we know what makes a man, let's tell our viewers. Tag all your friends wherever they are. Tag someone, tag those ones you are not seeing here because we don't want to leave anyone on this ship. We are
not
boarding
seeing
all
you.
of
You're
us.
too dark.
You are not seeing me? Oh man, sorry for today. Leo tu tumeamua kuwa na blackout hapa. Lakini it's part of. But I think if I lift my hands, I can brighten.
You have to be tall, dark, and handsome. But this guy is the opposite. There's one. The tall part is not in the description.
How sure are you? I'm not tall. That one is left for discussion. But for our viewership, tag someone, come along. Let's join. Share this one on all platforms, on social, on Facebook, on YouTube. Tag everyone, tell everyone to join because we don't want anyone to be left out of this discussion because we are boarding all of us. Thank you for everyone who's joined. I was watching, the first person to join the show was Rhoda Kipro. Thanks a lot. Rhoda, look for me after the show, and sure you look for me after the show. I have a present for you for being the first person to join this live. Of course.
No, Rhoda, you just earned yourself a treat. Huh? You know, this guy is Mr. Talk It and Do It.
She was the first person to join the show before Matasio came in. So you can be sure she came in before the hosts of the show. So thank you for that. We want to tag everyone, be here. And Ellie, this is awesome. You can be sure what is coming from the US of A is fire and is
This guy's learning, but somebody's saying being a man is more than the Red Cross. Do you get that? Do you get that a lot, Mr. Matasio? Because
I'm
the Red
getting
Cross is supposed to be that which takes care of everybody, but apparently being a man is more than just I mean, it's more than that.
soldier. That's true. I agree with that.
No, hautatupea majibu za James hapa. What are you agreeing with?
No, I agree with what
We
you
agreed on this.
Usiniingize kwa hii story.
I agree with what he says. A man is more than having a cross. You see, everything I try to look at it from a very Pan-Africanist point of view. The question you're asking now, that open question, our viewers, please, listeners, as you are there. Today we are not going to give you the answer today. From a Pan-Africanist point of view, I'm going to give you the right questions. But before you open up to tell my friends, I'm very happy you use the word a man. Because first of all, I want us to be very careful when we are on platforms and we are trying to reflect on society, because the name a man has already been diluted. You know why? Some very honorable men are being called baby daddies. Some very honorable men, you know. So you see, that's why I say, first of all, a very good topic, a very good focus way to follow where we go as men's den, because we talk real men's talk. Good. What I can tell is that from a Pan-African's point of view, I can just tell you that the answer to this is a man, and a man can always try. That is it. No, kujua. Sasa unataka kujua. Then you know, whatever it is, you are who you are. But always have to try. Okay, so when I say to answer this question, you have to come to a few points where these I talk to like fellow men. Because the only thing can ask a man to ask himself if he's a man, it's only because he is confused.
Allah.
Yeah, that's the only way. You know, everything. You cannot question your manhood unless you are confused.
No, are we questioning the manhood, James, or are we questioning you being a man?
No. I'm just to come to the definition of what is a man consists of. So to answer this, actually, we just have to look at three ways. I always try to attack things from a very clear perspective. First, you look where you are, because you're talking about people in diaspora, you're talking about people in Africa, you're talking about people. So you see, where am I? So you say, I am here in the East. You understand? Then you think, how are the men in the West? How are the men in the South? How are the men in the North? Then all those comparisons will give you a point of who you are and where you are. When you have got those four questions put correct, then you ask yourself again, when is a man today? How was a man yesterday? And how will a man look like in the future? Then
a man will be, I mean, James, I don't know about you, but I believe men will be evolving, because we started with the tails and nowadays we are working with our heads looking the other direction. James, what do you think as I try to bring in the other man who talks more English than most of us?
Thanks, really. And Matasio. And Matasio takes us into very complicated waters. About trying to define the man from the West and from Africa and from all over. But that question is deep. That question is quite deep. Who is a man? And you can look at it from different perspectives. Are we looking at roles? Are we looking at gender? Are we looking at expectations of society? Are we looking at various angles? Probably this whole men's den and the topics that we will discuss in the whole season will just be trying to define that one question. What is a man? Because that's why I'm saying it's a very complicated question that haina one answer. There is no one way you can answer that question. So I would want to just ask our viewers to tune in, because the whole season we will be trying to define who is a man, and from different angles, from the societal angle, from the cultural angle, from the westernized angle, because again, remember, we are saying, even though we have our African roots, which we cannot deny. Culture is evolving. What was acceptable yesterday might not necessarily be acceptable today. And we might have picked some aspects along the way that were not acceptable yesteryear. So hiyo swali ni swali very complicated. I would be, unless you would want to give me now the show for the next 1 hour, I sit down and try to answer this question.
Well, are you trying to buy the whole airtime by yourself? I mean, we have the linguistic man
No, wait,
who I would
Ellie,
love to
Ellie.
bring. Yes.
Ellie, wait. Before you bring, I hope that people are watching, because last season, as we went into the break, one guy here was the ladies' man, and it seems he's picking up very fast from where he left off. So he's trying his best to overthrow everybody else. To gain the
He
vote.
already offered a side. I mean, Kipro Roda, you and let's just say it's time to bring in Mr. Linguistic himself. Good evening, sir. Wewe umekuwa wapi, by the way? Hivi ndio utaenda binguni?
Good evening, guys. Good evening, Maze. I am so sorry. I know the one did this thing. No. I'm good now. I think you can.
We didn't.
Now,
guys, did we say we'll be moving to show our crib or something? Because Lumumba decided to give us a tour. Lumumba, are you giving us a tour?
No.
Ama mwanaume ni pesa na nyumba.
The internet. Excuse me. The internet did the thing, and for a while I've been struggling to get myself together. But here I am, and I see gentlemen here, Manzeka Rimini Sala, and thank you very much for getting me onto the show. Yes, my name is Shuchi Lumumba, and the discussion going on is just one that I would love to delve in. So thank you for having me on the show, and perhaps Ellie, this just has to be yours. Just move on with it.
This guy came in with a pocket handkerchief ready to host the show, and he decided he was going to be the last one to come in. Yani to recognize ama tujue nani ako na, because we've been asking and trying to define who is a man or what makes a man. Lumumba. Mwanaume ni luku.
A man is I believe there's not one perfect definition for what a man is, because men have tended over time to be defined by what others think men should be. Men have tended to be defined by what society thinks a man should be, and occasionally and unfortunately over time men have also been able to be defined by what they are able to do, whether it's physically, whether it's financially, whatever the muscle is that involves the outcome has always been used to define a man. But for me, I think a man is someone who's in touch with his purpose, someone who's in touch with himself, someone who's in touch with what he is as a person, someone who's in touch with his weaknesses, someone who's in touch with his strengths, someone who's in touch with his environment and his obligations, and one who's able to make adjustments wherever possible when things are not working the right way, and just being in charge. That to me is what I would consider a man to be.
Great. Let's just find out what the audience are saying in the comment section. Gilbert, I want you to take us through the comment section. We have quite a lot of them. We'll make time to try and read one after the other. We have Kipro who says karibu sana, Nguku. Evans Indangasi mko wapi? Oh, guys are tagging one another. That's awesome. Zena amekuja Men's Day. You know, when Zena comes here, we stop learning English and literature. We go all the way to Fasihi. It's all right. Kuanzie tu pale hatujasahau last time. Okay.
Unajua tukifunga last tuliwacha Zena hanging. Sasa bado wako na ile moto ilikuwa last time. Sasa anataka tuanzie pale.
Okay, she goes ahead and says, we didn't finish up the last episode. We should start from where we stopped. You know, Eshuchi, were you here? And we were discussing about the African man was a problem. The African man was a problem, rather the Pan-Africanist. What do you want to say about what Zena has just mentioned before we go to a break, a quick one?
You want me to
Matasio.
give my opinions about mambo ya
I would love,
Bibido?
I would love Matasio to respond to that, because it is actually gearing us to the next part of this discussion. Matasio, Zena amesema tuanzie pale pale.
But I think it's very difficult to go back there at the moment. But I'll say one thing. I insisted and I said, I cancel all those other names that you're trying to bring up. And I just said, we have to go back. We call ourselves, like now we're saying, you are a man, you are in touch with the physical world, in touch with the intellectual world, and in touch with the spiritual world. And the abilities, and that is it. There's not so much around it. So, if she wants to go back there, we have discussed and we had some misunderstanding. But I think right now we can just take that point here. A man is who is in touch with his physical world, intellectual world, and spiritual world. That's it.
Fair enough. James, you're
No,
eating.
I hear what Matasio is saying, yeah? But then it opens a lot of questions. What does he mean when he says the one who is in charge of? What does being in charge of your spiritual world mean? What does being in charge of the physical mean? Because
point of correction.
Matasio, relax. Matasio, relax. Breathe.
Not in charge.
Breathe.
In charge.
Breathe. Because how you interpret being in charge might be different from another person's interpretation. Relax, Matasio, breathe.
No.
Breathe.
Okay.
So anyway, Ellie, this will be definitely a heated topic, yeah, and it is okay because we all come in with different perspectives, which is completely okay. We are not saying that one perspective is right over the other, but we should be able to debate this until we come to a conclusion or to a reasonable agreement that this is what exactly we mean. Lakini Matasio, tukiachia mpendwa mtazamaji the definition that it is one who is in charge of, hatujamsaidia sana, because we need to explain further what does that mean. Yes, I will listen to you now.
Point of correction. I say yes, in touch, not in charge, connected with your spiritual world. Connected
same points to consider. What does that mean? What does being connected mean?
For me, it means like this. When you are in charge with your physical world, where you live, the culture you live in, the people you live with, as a man, there is some responsibilities defined in that physical world. What do men do there? What the responsibilities involved? And we know Africa, we know there are some very basic common physical world definitions of a man: a protector, a provider, a fighter, a striker. We know those ones. They are there. Since you're a small boy, we grow up with them. That's what I'm saying. You're in touch with those. You grew up with your brothers and your sisters. How did you grow up? How did you treat each other? That's the physical world you live in. You understand? Then as you grow as a man, you start to understand things in the world. You start to use your own brains. You start to see options in life. You can choose to be a criminal or you can choose to be an honest person. That is what happens in your head. That's your intellectual world. You can go to school, get degrees. You can be like Ellie, sit down, use the intellectual world and talk about men's problem. That is what we're talking about. You're in touch with your intellectual world. Then your spiritual world.
Matasio. Let me just...
Gentlemen, we must take a break. The two of you have decided not to agree and decided to disagree to agree. So why let's not take a break and come back there and respond to everybody that is actually watching and making this evening worth it.
3, 2, and
yes, and we are back. 3, 2, and we are back. So let me bring in this Eshuchi man, because he's been avoiding to have the conversation. Eshuchi, if you can hear me. Okay, we are Menda Zake. Gilbert, you want to come and salvage the situation because Matasio and James have decided hawakubaliani in this what is being in charge and being, I don't know, what was the other word being
In
used?
touch,
Gilbert.
connected, in touch, connected, my friend, not in charge.
Gilbert, your microphone is muted.
I think we just need a Shuchi to take them through, because I think they are having differences in terms of semantics, which is normal considering they are two different men. That's what men are. But to me, a man, you physical and responsibility. The two defines you. First of all, you are born as a man physically, but as you continue existing, the roles and responsibilities define you. That's why we end up being now, Utaskia. We have Eli and we have James and we have Matasio. We are defined by our responsibilities and our roles in the society. Considering the context we are discussing here, it is what are men in the society that we live in. So we move out of the physical part of being a man, and now we go on to the roles that define you as a man in terms of your space in the society. That's my take, because of any other thing that comes around, it's based on your roles as a man and your responsibilities as a man. If you are doing them, if you are carrying out, because you can just grow as a man physically, but minus these roles and responsibilities, people will define you as otherwise.
Definition being otherwise. Hold your horses, gentlemen. Again, hey, kuna mtu kweli ametaka notice Gilbert. Her name is Kipro Roda. We say there is a word like semantics. Google never taught me that. Okay, fine. Now you know. Aliodo is win says fire, fire. Zena anakuambia, Mr. Kagwa, why are you jumping? Why are you jumping? We've seen your type somewhere. Who they speak until they are losing their voices. So, Nyanduko Nyabuto, Matasio, bum bum bum. Twende kazi. Ati sana anasema nice topic following from Kenya. Thank you so much. Frida Nguku, finally she's there. Great to see you, great men in the house. A man who is in touch with who he is, his strength, weakness, name it. That is an amazing way to define a man. Hey, Shuchi. Shuchi, people are just aiming at you in a nice way. You want to say something?
I don't think aiming is the word. When you make your case, you make your case.
So what do you make of these gentlemen that actually are not able to agree on one thing? And let's now pull a little bit to the next step, which I wanted us to bring into perspective. The other day we heard of a story of a well-known gentleman that unfortunately decided to murder the wife. And some of the things we want to address in these settings as gentlemen is, to what level do men come until they commit such heinous acts? And in this case, this happened, and the stories behind it, of course, there are stories subject to court decisions and investigations. But again, what is already in the public domain says there was an issue of mistrust happening. Do you think men are the most difficult animals to forgive, Eshuchi? And does that make them not able to be in touch of who they are, if we have to look at the strength and the weaknesses you've mentioned in your definition?
I have a longer version response to that question, but I'll try to give a summary to it. I think there are a few realities that people evade in this world and in today's age. What I tell people all the time is I approach life from a realistic point of view. Some people approach life from a rationale point of view, which is understandable. But you see, rationale makes you appear like you are not an emotional creature. It makes you appear like you do not have feelings. It makes you appear like you are trying to detach yourself from the DNA that actually makes you who you are. So this is what I'm going to, this is how I look at it. Men are generally really quite egoistic people. That is a thing about a male figure. That is what gives you the masculinity. There is the level of ego that comes with being a man, and often at times, sometimes the world wants you to operate on the same threshold or wavelength that a woman, for instance, would operate on. And that is a bit impractical considering our emotional and our egoistic state. So what usually happens is, like I was saying before now, the true definition of a man is that man who knows where his limits come when it comes to things like ego, emotional breakdown, and all that. And so as a mature person, you do not run away from the kind of a personality that you are. Because what people don't understand again is we have personalities, and the world tries to make it look like you can change personalities. You cannot change personalities. What you can change is how you react to particular situations or some triggers that bring out personalities in you that are not very good. For example, I could be someone who's quick to anger. That is a personality. You cannot call me out on that. You cannot tell me, hey, shoot, you're being a little too quick to anger. If it's a personality of mine, then it is. But what is my responsibility as a person? What I would do as a man is I would try to assess myself and be like, okay, you know what? I'm a little quick to anger, and these are some of the things that trigger me out. So in an instance that I realize I am trying to get to a place where anger is in question, I'll possibly look for ways to avoid the scenario. Walk away, decide not to engage, decide not to respond. And that way I will mitigate the situation without letting out that other side of me that is a little too wrong. So what happens is, by nature, men tend to be quite egoistic. And once your ego is bruised in a manner that contravenes your manhood, as you perceive it for that matter, then your reactions on that could be things that are not very, very good to relate with. And sometimes it's a snap. You know, you're like, this is what happens and that. And that's why sometimes I say men bottle up a lot. And I am not trying to understand what the guy went through and what transpired before the shooting or whatever it is. But all I am seeing is a man who got at a point where he was unable to take care of his feelings, take care of his ego having been bruised, or maybe compactly take care of a situation. And so what did he do? He reacted from the id perspective. That is how I would look at it. But seriously, I still think there's a lot more than one ways to just take a step at a time, understanding who you are, understanding how you react to situations, understanding the triggers of your bad sides, and understanding when you are actually just about to get there, so that you're not always dealing with outcomes, but solutions that were put in place time enough to take care of any bad eventualities.
Let me let me take it up from where Esuchi leaves it, because I think I want to agree with him to a very large extent. And number one, from the onset, I would like to say this was a very unfortunate incident. Irrespective of whatever is happening, it should never result to that. It should never end in both homicide and suicide. And coming now to the whole aspect of being a man and manhood, and in relation to this particular incident, joining where Esuchi leaves it off. Number one, I agree with him on the realistic versus he's called it rationale. But more than rationale, some people live on an idealistic world. They just they can only look at the ideal. But then we know that in life you never achieve ideal, and there are people who are unable to face that. They don't have the right coping mechanisms, they don't have the right support structures around them to help them walk or navigate through sticky situations. Yeah. Now, when you come to this particular incident, and again, I'm being very cautious, because nearly everything that we've had is hearsay. It touches on the very heart of man, which is about manhood. Yeah. If you listen to the grapevine, there are stories about these two people having stayed together for quite a considerable amount of time. There are stories of them not being able to have a child. Yeah. There are issues about trust issues and faithfulness. It's in the grapevine. And when you look at it all, and you look at how man is socialized, I think, and this is my personal hypothesis, I think this man got to a point where he felt like his uh, the essence of being a man was being ridiculed or being challenged. Yeah. Again, the postmortem came otherwise, but already in the grapevine there were stories that they had parted ways, and then the wife had come back pregnant. You know, and if society around you is talking, it doesn't matter whether it's true or not. It has the potential to harm the ego, as Isuchi is saying. Yeah, and a man without the ego, you've stripped him naked. So I would think probably it's a reaction. I'm not excusing the behavior. It should never get to that. I completely agree. If we narrow it down, I completely agree that a real man must be in touch with his emotions and know the phases that he is going through and be able to navigate and to mitigate reactions. Yeah. But again, it's just an example, and this is just one case. There are numerous other cases where we are seeing where the man, and again, this is very speculative, the man has been pushed to the wall and he doesn't know how to react. And unfortunately, for some, they feel that it is better off when they are both themselves and the partner is not in the picture. And that's why we are seeing an increase in homicides, an increase in depression, an increase in mental disorders. It's because I think as a society we've redefined what man should be, and we are not giving this man the tools to be that who we as a society tell him to be.
Thank you, James. We must take another break. And when we come back, we want to involve the audience even more. And let's find out who is the smartest in this room, because apparently some people cannot just take a beat down. And audience, this is your time to make a few memorable moments in the Man's Den of episode 1, season 2. We'll be right back in a moment.
Whenever we speak of great achievers, we tend to use phrases like they've come from far, they started from the bottom, or they did a lot to get to where they are. Lifted on kevintini.com.
Yes, you can get a copy of Lifted on kevintini.com, and remember that book, if you want to read, be it your man, woman, or otherwise. Shuchi, who is the smartest in the room, and why do we need to find out?
Like I say, men are competitive people. I think we just need to find out who's the smartest. In a man's world, there always has to be a hierarchy. Men don't want to operate on leveled up spaces. Yes, so perhaps we could find out who is the smartest in the room.
Well, I will take the honors and ask James to throw a jab at Matasio, or let's make it even more interesting. Let's just do this. The rules of the games are that the person that scores the least loses and asks help from the audience. The audience that gives the right answer wins themselves a token from the loser, and of course from the Man's Den of 1,000 Kenyan shillings. Let's see who is the smartest. Again, remember the hashtag is Man's Den. That is one word, Man's Den. If you want, you're also allowed to use the hashtag at InHeart. Again, the rules is these gentlemen say they are the smartest. We want to find out who is the least smartest, especially for tonight's questions. And the one that loses or has the less points gets to nominate the audience to answer the question. The first one to answer correctly with the hashtag Men's Den wins themselves the loser's bet, which is 500 shillings and 500 shillings from the Men's Den. How about that? I think the rules, rather the regulations around them, they are very clear. And James, you have a moment with Gilbert. Go.
Who is asking who? Gilbert is throwing the first one.
James, you have a jab to throw at Gilbert.
All right. You know, Gilbert is my friend. So, so Gilbert, I'll ask this question. In the hierarchy of animals, which animal has the smallest brain size?
In 5, 4,
Brain.
3,
You meant
Size.
brain cells or what?
2,
Size.
Huh?
1.
Size.
Brain size. Oh, I think is the termite.
Timeout. That is 1 with James, 0 with Gilbert. Gilbert, your moment to redeem yourself. If you levelize, you are on the same level, so it's a draw, and you can have one more chance to ask James a question. James will give the answer at the end of this question time. James, now it's Gilbert's time. Back at James. Gilbert, go ahead.
James, do you really need a question from me?
Do you want to ask one? Do you want to ask one?
Yeah, I need to ask one. Only that I don't know which one to ask because now
No,
this
let's go to the others. Ellie.
It's a 0 on Gilbert. It's 1 on James. So far, James is leading. Gilbert has so far
Gilbert,
the
this
least.
guy doesn't like
the
you.
answers.
Clearly.
I don't
Matasio,
Yeah.
you have a moment of asking a general question, and Eshuchi will be responding to it. And he decided to respond with a blackout.
Chicken out.
How smart? How smart? Okay, fine. Let's find out if Eshuchi is able to come and respond. Eshuchi, I'll try and bring you back on. Hopefully, you are able to respond to the question. Matasio, general question.
Am I asking him in absentia or is there? Okay. First of all, apology. Maybe I forgot, but I was not aware of this quiz. But I'm just trying to understand where Shuchi is. I don't know this guy. I just meet him online now. So, and I didn't know we were going to compete about who's smart or not smart. But if I have to ask you a question, I have to think something related to man, and you talked about hierarchy. A man's job is in which world of his, in these 3 worlds? His physical world, his intellectual world, and his spiritual world. A man's job, in what category that what one lie?
Just come up with the last bit again.
A man's job, like you have a job, you're a driver. And we have our
Yes.
3 worlds: your physical world, your intellectual world, and your spiritual world. In which world does your job belong?
My job, my job belongs in a little
No,
bit
not
of both, all world, but I would put it mostly on the physical world.
Correct. You're smart.
Also, I think.
The smartest on the bench so far is scoring at Eshuchi. 1, because he managed to get the right answer. And of course, James is leading only because nobody got his answer correct among the ones competing. Now, Eshuchi, you have a moment to ask a question to Matasio.
Oh. Okay.
Well, since he's a Pan-Africanist, since he's a Pan-Africanist, give him a general question.
Oh, a general question.
Yes.
I feel like I don't know if his question was simple, because now I feel like I can't be too complicated for him. I don't want him to look bad. Let me see. Maybe I'll ask you something in the regions of history, maybe just basic history. People say, no, this is quite, I'm not a historian myself, but I'll just shoot. People say that Africa would have been a very, very good country had it been that most of our founding fathers and leaders were not betrayed by the whites, and sometimes, of course, by our own African people. According to you, who of these two leaders do you actually think would have made Africa a way better place? The recently fallen soldier of Libya, or the old Sankara of West Africa? Who would have made Africa a way better place, in your opinion? This is actually an opinion-based question.
I die with Gaddafi, my friend. Libya.
You die with Gaddafi?
Yeah? You meant Gaddafi, if I understood you.
Okay.
Well. You meant Gaddafi in your question.
Yes. I meant Gaddafi.
I died with Gaddafi.
Yes,
for sure. He would have changed Africa bigger than even Mandela.
Okay.
Now, Leshuchi, it is your moment. It's your moment to give your opinionated answer.
Judge me. This one, judge me, but I will not
and
even.
Why? Because I have a hint that there must be something wrong with that question. But it's your moment to respond.
Well. Just like I said, it's an opinion-based answer. I would actually have gone for the young Sankara, especially for the following reasons. Yeah, there was something so anti-capitalist about him that I think is what would have driven Africa and probably his country to way better levels. In just 5 years in power, this guy had transformed the economy. He had paid all the debts that were owed. He had reduced all the government workers to basic people who drove in basic cars. He had reduced salaries. He had built so much, and he had changed the education system and all. But again, I think me and Mataso would live to fight over these some other time. So right now, let's call it a square.
It is a square, and of course,
if it's a square, we agree.
It is a square because the question was opinionated.
Is agreeing with something.
No, I
have not asked my question.
You passed on your rights to ask the question, sir.
Can you relax?
So you are the one with the least score.
It's James who waved the.
No, you passed on your question ability, so rather your ability to question. So you are the one with the least score because James actually answer a question to you and you are unable to answer. Rather give the answer within the framed time. So I'm going to ask a question to the rest of the panelists, the three of you.
Three.
This is my question. Gentlemen, Gilbert, this is your moment either to redeem yourself or to actually pay up. This is the question. Unavyotikisa kiuno nalo shingo la upanga, meno yako yenye mwanya nayo macho ya gololi is a line from the song written and performed by one Eshuchi Lumumba. What is the name of the song and what year was it released? Again, unavyotikisa kiuno nalo shingo la upanga, meno yako yenye mwanya nayo macho ya gololi is a line from a song done, rather performed and written by Eshuchi Lumumba. What is the name of the song and which year was it released? A, Simple Man, released in 2020. B, Simple Love, released in 2021. C, Simple Man, released in 2021. Or D, I'm Just a Simple Man, released in 2020. You must give the right answer. Do you want me to give the answers again?
Can I go first now that I'm the one tailing?
Okay. Do you know the answers? You want me to give the answers once again?
No, I know the answer.
Okay. You have, after 5 count, you must give the answer. That is 5, 4, 3, 2,
Simple Man,
1.
released in 2021.
What is the answer, James?
A.
B.
B.
A.
A. Your answer is Simple Man, released in 2020. Who else is of the same thought? Matasio? Matasio, 2020? 2020, going once, 2020, going twice.
Matasio there is Simple Love, released in 2021.
Simple Love, released in 2021, is unfortunately, James, you lost. The correct answer is Simple Love, released in 2021, and you can be able to check that out because it was released a few days just after the Valentine's show on
in February 2021. James.
Usianze maringo hapa.
No, si maringo.
So we are going to review that song, and we will ask the last question because as it is now, it is squared out. James and Gilbert are now on even. Nobody is winning. Nobody is winning. So the last question.
These guys shared points. These guys shared points.
How?
Yes. Now it's the last question is coming after. Again, gentlemen, we must take a break. The last question is coming after this performance by one Eshuchi Lumumba. But remember, you can be able to give away or keep the wins if you give the right or wrong answer to the audience. Let's go. We got it that, right?
Yeah.
Hey, lakini mistari ndugu unakoroga. I thought you can only speak Swahili. I thought you could actually speak better English, but I realized Swahili is equally ile ya Zena. Mnapelekana hivi hivi, same WhatsApp group.
Huyu kijana anafinya mistari sana.
Sana.
Swahili.
So we are going to take the last bow so that we can actually, and shout out to everybody. Nambiwa hapa, amazing song, Eshuchi, that's from Frida. Nice music from Artisana. We have Kipro Roda, wanasema wacha compare. Sijui ni nani wana compete na nani hapa. But as it is, the only person we know that was feeling better about himself was Gilbert when he started off the show. Eldema Mantex amesema absolutely, M-Pesa yangu inangoja, that's by Noreen. But there's rigging. Everybody that is actually answering here seems to be an internal organized competition. Msiwe hivyo, by the way. Msiwe hivyo. Sarah Njonjo, thank you so much for joining. Nyanduko is equally there. Kwani mume, it's all right. I think there's a lot of rigging happening. But again, the last question of the night, we are going to ask, it's a false or true answer. Eshuchi, maybe it is your time to actually prove you are the smartest in the room. You got the first answer right, and let's see if you can get the second answer correctly. People would rather alter facts than change their opinions about people. Rather, my question is, people, that's a statement, people would rather alter facts than change their opinions about people. Is this true or false? Esuchi. Would people rather alter the facts of an issue or issues than change their opinions about people? Like, you know, huyu jamaa ni mwizi, lakini hapana, huyu kijana wetu mwenye amekufa alikuwa mtakatifu sana. So you're altering the facts. Is this true or false?
I think shida ya kuwa mwalimu ndio hii sasa. It's very hard for us to answer open-ended questions, yes or no, true or false.
I knew.
But
Eli, I do want to say, I
if-
left it to shoot you to say that.
yeah.
Stop playing safe.
But before I answer, just allow me to be the teacher I am. Before I answer, mimi ni kama wale wanafunzi wangeendea mwalimu waseme this question has a problem. This is how I would just structure the question if I was to answer it for myself.
No, you are not going to structure the question.
No, you are not going to
You
structure
are
the
not going to change and say the question was wrongly set. The question is simple. People will rather alter facts than change their opinions about people. Is this true or false?
I will give you my answer. The answer is
Start with the
it
answer and then
is easier
True
for
or
people
false?
to
Start with the
alter
answer
facts.
and then explain.
Relax. It is easier for people to alter facts than change their opinions about others. And going with that theory, therefore, the statement is true.
Unfortunately,
Yeah, I think
Lumumba has proved to be the smartest in the room.
Why didn't you ask me that question also?
Well, let's just make it easier for you. Let's make it easier for you, actually.
I mean,
I have
I'm
a
waiting
question for you.
for the question you're declaring someone.
African man, African man, African man, African man, Mr. African man, you have 1 split of a second to think through and answer this and not take us into rounds, okay? A broken heart could be a legitimate cause of death. True or false?
True.
Why?
Suicide.
Short and suicide.
James, do you want to help me? Probably, as a professional psychologist, do you think a broken heart could be a cause for death?
It is actually a cause. It is actually a cause. I want to send African man back to school and tell him to read on a syndrome called broken heart syndrome. I will not explain that syndrome. I've given you the cue.
No, my friend, I don't know what is happening. Let's ask. You asked me a question, eh? I said yes. And now you're telling me you're saying yes, and you're telling me to school. Did you say no? I'm not in English. You think this gets
Well, let's do this.
No.
In all fairness, the question had 2 parts. And why it's limited or not limited to how you perceive it. However, let's have the medical approach to it, James.
Listen. You guys, I want to tell you one thing. Let's not limit ourselves. To be very honest, you asked me a question. I don't know. You asked me if a broken heart, maybe nimechanganyikiwa. Ama tunayo kwa Kiswahili. Wewe uliniuliza kama a broken heart inaweza kuwa legitimate cause ya death. Was not that the question?
That was the question. True or false?
Then I said yes. It is possible. A broken heart can be a cause of death.
No, but your explanation has a problem because suicide in itself is a cause of death.
No.
Hapa tutashinda hapa.
Listen, you can die with 6 bullets. 6 bullets is the cause of death. You can die with 6 bullets. Death does not come in one.
Eli,
Gilbert,
Eli, as far as it might seem right, we just need to speculate. Yes, it can be.
It
Not
is.
it is. I heard
It
James
has.
saying it. I heard James saying it is. It can be based on individual, because we are not dealing with a affirmed assertion. We are dealing with perceived feelings.
well,
What I
unfortunately,
perceive
the bad news is, Gilbert, there is a medical condition to such, unfortunately. And that's why I want to welcome James to actually make it in black and white. James, please. Out of time, I will have to end you, Gilbert.
You see, that's why probably my good friend, Mr. Matasio, did not get me correctly or misconstrued what I mean. Gilbert, if you look at psychology, there is a syndrome called broken heart syndrome that holds that when somebody goes through heartbreak, and the heartbreak can be, it's not just necessarily love, but any deep-rooted loss to something significant, some brain chemicals depreciate, yeah, and it might lead to. Again, I agree with you, because psychology is not an exact science, and I know you're coming from a scientific perspective. Just the way one occurrence will throw somebody in depression, and another one will be able to surmount it. It's the same thing. It's not an exact science, but there's a syndrome. There's an actual syndrome that says, and it's called, and that's why I was saying I invite any one of us to just look at it, look it up. It's called broken heart syndrome.
We know, bro. Everybody knows broken heart syndrome. We know it through divorce. We know it happens, but don't let us
Gentlemen, we must come to the end of this cast.
No, I want to
However,
know his answer. No,
however,
we agreed. Did you say yes or no? Because me, I said yes. What was your answer?
We'll invite the audience to actually look it up, the broken heart syndrome, and this is actually a legitimate cause, or can be a legitimate cause of death, and there is a scientific definition and reasons given behind it. So again, James, as always, you are the timid one because ulikataa kupingana na Matasio, Mr. African man. Gilbert, the most romantic gentleman on stage, and Ashuchi, mtu wa mistari, leo ametuchapa na shingo sijui la meno and all that. You can always look up Ashuchi's music on YouTube, because it's Ashuchi Lumumba right there. Matasio Kagwa. Yes. Hey, huyu jamaa. Anatuemesha. We almost named you, but let's save it for the next show. Nimekuwa mjaluo. For the next show. Men's Den is on fire. Thank you so much. Saran Jonjo, Kipro Roda, Asante sana Frida Nguku. We see Godwin Segero. Amesema Matasio is the smartest in the room. Matasio is the smartest in the room. Zena was saying, thank you so much for coming to the show. Nyanduko Nyabuto. We have who else is here? I saw somebody here called Elidema Mantix. Thank you so much, Atisana. This is the first time they are coming on board.
Atisana, we have to get in touch with her.
Is it a her?
Yes, she's a very good Nyatiti player. Check
African man.
Atisana, thank you so much. And you know what? African man has decided he's taking the day. So what? You know what? Because we are such in a good mood, Atisana, get in touch with us. You can do so by sending us a text on the artsinheart@gmail.com. That is our email address, or through our media handles. That is, send us a DM. And the Men's Den, because you are the newest on block, you'll be taking home the 500 from the winners and the losers, thanks to Men's Den. That is 1,000 shillings for you as a new member of.
She just said one of her songs now.
She has sent one of our songs. We'll be checking it out, and of course, share the link on the link. We'll be more than happy to be able to share your art with us. Final thoughts, gentlemen. Everyone, you have 30 seconds. Let's go. Eshuchi.
First of all, we're very excited to be getting onto this second segment of the Man's Den. It's my first time on the show, at least as a panel, from the very, very core of it. And we're excited for this season, man. So excited. Today, we just wanted to get ourselves out there and have you guys exchange ideas with us before now we get the rubber onto the road. And it's going to be an exciting season. Trust me. You've seen the brains around here and you've seen the perspectives around here. I think this is a show you're going to want to be part of. And walk the journey with us, man. Art in Heart. Follow us wherever every Tuesday, 9:30 p.m. Men's Den is going to be coming your way. Asanteni sana. Karibuni next time. Cheers.
Thank you, sir. Sasa msiniangalie bwana. Nyinyi si wageni muongee.
Thank you, guys. Let me go second. I see Matasio is still agitated, but Matasio, don't worry. We have a next show next week, so you might want to ventilate in that show. Thank you, guys, for tuning in. For our viewership, man, continue being there. You make us want to wake up on Tuesday and come to face this show, knowing that we have people listening to us and listening to what you are discussing here, because we are discussing what it's us as a society in terms of men in different perspectives, because these are people in different, these are world show, man. We are in different part of the world. So based on the experiences we face and see, we come here and discuss and agree. And the best thing we can do is you listening and also helping us with your ideas as we discuss on ideas that we have. And that will help us change our society. It starts with one step. It starts with one word. And the whole society will know that we are here. Thank you, guys.
And so that I can give African Man the last word, let me go third. But again, I think this was a feel-good show. The viewers, you can see that the different perspectives that we all hold. Ultimately, the end game is to just define what does society want with us? Who is a man? The question that we started with, who is a man? From different angles and from different topics, we'll be able to look at what we believe and what you believe a man should be. Yeah. And I welcome everybody. We will engage, we will disagree, we will agree ultimately, because such is life. Such is life, and different perspectives make life more exciting. What a boring world it would be if we were all in agreement with everything. So I think I welcome everybody. From next week now, we start on the real issues, topic by topic. In each week, we will have a different discussion. I welcome views on topics that you would want covered on. I already see there's a lady, Zara, wanted us to revisit some discussion we had. Probably we'll revisit it in one format or the other as we go along. And that's what we want, to just get your feedback and see what you would want us to talk about, and those sticky situations, comfortable.
What
topics.
part of 30 seconds did you not understand?
I am taking Gilbert's 15. Gilbert has used 15. Can you let me be?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Allow him to enjoy himself.
All right. Anyway, thank you, and let's do this. Let's do this every week.
Yeah.
Matasio, your moment to shine.
Oh, it's me now. No, I don't need to shine. Yes.
It's your turn.
I did. First of all, I'd like to thank Eli so much to having me on board. And I know you guys started the first season. I think I was only in 1 or 2 shows. And then I'm happy to also hear Ishuchi is also new like me. So at least I have I have somebody to support me. Already they are selling their own one. Yeah, hapa wanashajipanga kivingine. Like anyway.
I know.
Unajua hiyo maneno kumbe. Na Eli anajifanya wanamtizia mamono sawa tu. Okay, anyway. Thank you very much. I will only close with one. This is for the men. And as you see, they call me the African man. And we are all African, you're all black. Even some of them are blacker than me, and I'm an African man. So just know that I have refused everything. I want to look at everything 100% African perspective. So even if I disagree, I'll be disagreeing with these people who look like they want to be like Mzungu. So for me, I'm the black sheep here, and I accept that position. So the black message from the black sheep is, a man is a man. And a man can always try. That's my opinion.
A man is a man, and a man can always try. I don't know about you, but I disagree with James because he's the only man who always agrees with everybody. And as tonight is saying, it is not always okay to disagree. I mean, to agree. But anyway, he's equally gone ahead and said, I don't know, Sarah.
Disagreeing. James, if you're converging, if your ideas converge, that is okay.
Yes.
I don't know.
James, I disagree with one point. I disagree with one point. There's nobody called Zara that has texted. The only person I still over the comment section is Zena. And thank you so much, Zena, for coming on the show tonight. Yeah. Let's do this again next week. And in case you don't know, The Girls Talk is the new show coming every Wednesday on Art in Heart. Join Frida Nguku and Noreen Mbata as they take you through this awesome ladies' night. So make a date with them and be sure to enjoy. I leave you with this with Lisa as she says, you and me. At least, wacha wanaume tusikie mapenzi kidogo for once. Good night. Till next time. My name is Likuyani Eli, and this is The Men's Den.